Welcome back to Friday Talk. This is Evangelism Now podcast. Yours truly, Pastor Kenneth L. Hollingshed, and I have a special guest in with us tonight. I've known her, and I refer to her as one of our women in ministry who is indeed a living legend, a scholar in her own right, and the Reverend Dr. Essie Clark George. Accomplished author, pastor, retired, presiding elder, dedicated leader within the Christian Methodist Episcopal Church with more than 30 years of professional experience in human resources, human services, education, counseling, ministry leadership. Wow. She has faithfully served communities through both corporate and pastoral work. Dr. George earned a Bachelor of Arts degree in Human Services Administration, a Master of Divinity degree in Pastoral Care and Counseling, and a Doctoral Ministry degree in Urban and Revitalization from McCormick Theological Seminary. She also completed professional studies in geriatrics and gerontology through the University of Illinois and earned a Crisis Counselor Certificate from Northeastern Illinois University. So she's well qualified, as you can see. Throughout her ministry, she has served as pastor of several CME congregations, including Murchison Isom Temple CME Church, Israel Metropolitan CME Church, and St. James CME Church. She later served as presiding elder of the Gary District in the 3rd Episcopal District 3D, and as General Conference Coordinator for the Commission on the Concerns of Women in Ministry. Dr. George is widely respected for her leadership. That's why she's on my podcast. Serving as a respected leader, community service, advocate for women in ministry, unwavering commitment to evangelism, discipleship, and spiritual growth. Her life and ministry continue to inspire others through faithful service, dynamic preaching, and a passion for advancing the kingdom. And so I'm delighted, Dr. George, that you are here with yours truly. And of course, I am a candidate for General Secretary of Evangelism and Missions for the Christian Methodist Episcopal Church. We're right around the corner from the General Conference of our church to be held in Dallas, Texas at the Hilton Anatole Hotel there in Dallas. And we're excited. We're on tiptoe anticipation for what God is about to do. But I thought it not robbery to have you come and share about one of the chapters in my book, my newly published book, Outreach is the Architecture of Evangelism. It's been on the market for about maybe 2 months or so. But in the 3rd chapter, I dedicated the 3rd chapter to women in ministry, because all of the women in ministry that I know have been a powerful influence in my life, in my ministry, going back to my great-grandmother, Beatrice Franklin, who was a Pentecostal preacher, had her own church, and I was a little boy going to that church. And then my grandmother, both on the maternal side, man, this is my mother's great-grandmother, and of course my mother's mother, and Cornelia White Baker. She was a missionary in the Baptist church. Well, in the Baptist church, by and large, they did not receive women in ministry. And so they told her she had to talk from the floor and be just a missionary. And, we don't have women preachers. You got to be a missionary in here. And so she she did exactly that. But I referred to her as I saw her ministry, saw her work, and appreciate everything she did. I said, "Oh, that's a preacher." They're just rejecting her, and they say you can't come into the pulpit and do anything. And I've seen the same thing, Dr. George, in the CME church. I've seen it, and so I want you to share with us how have you seen women serve in spiritual reinforcements within the life of the CME church? How have you seen that?
Our history,
Mhm.
in terms of women, is a rich one.
Okay.
As far back as the 1800s,
Wow.
you
Wow.
see sisters locking this thing down. I mean, uh, I cannot say enough about our own missionary department way back under Carolyn Poe, who
Yes.
really started the fire to in reference to moving into what we now have
Okay.
as a missionary society.
Yes.
However, even before them, in terms of Christendom,
Yes.
women in ministry of all different denominations
Okay.
were moving under the auspices of God. I
Yes.
have a
Yes.
book
Yes.
that I love, and every now and then I pull it out. It is
Okay.
called Sisters of the Spirit.
Yes.
And Sisters of the Spirit, it tells us about three evangelists.
Okay. Mhm.
Zephyr Elo and Julia Foote and Jarena Lee. These were the sisters from different denominations that went around preaching
Okay. Okay.
back in the day. And
Wow.
I thank
Wow.
God for um, the late Dr. David Daniels, who brought
Yes.
this book to light in one of my classes when I was in
Mhm.
seminary there at McCormick, and just whet
Yes.
my appetite to keep
Yes.
on moving in ministry.
Okay.
Uh,
Okay.
so back before our sisters, there was Julia Foote and
Wow.
uh,
Wow.
Jarena Lee from the AME Church, who was
Yes.
not
Yes.
allowed
Okay.
in the pulpit. Um, and so many others, not even not forgetting the foundational sisters of our missionary department, how they
Yes.
just did
Yes.
so much to get us where we are, all the way up to my good girlfriend Eleanor Ham and the Grants and all
Yes.
and
Know her
and
well.
and 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 the folks. All our foundation were for women, started back really back with the brothers. We just
Yes.
weren't recognized,
Okay. Okay. Mhm.
don't have the publicity of the written history
Okay.
in terms of preachers
Yes.
evangelizing in our Zion. There are a few,
Wow.
but not
Yes.
many.
Not many. Mhm.
But for me, I got like a spring in my step. Um, way back in 19 and 68, when the Lord called me to ministry.
Yes.
And I cried for 3 whole months because I was a singer back then. I was known
Wow.
to sing. And I cried because I have watched sisters before me
Yes.
hurt
Yes.
because
Yes.
they were not, accepted back in the day. And
Of
so
course. Of
I just
course.
made it my mind, okay, now when you get through crying, are you going to accept this call or what? And so I did
Beautiful.
that. And
Beautiful.
I'm grateful for every woman I know or have read about
Okay.
that have added to the life of our church. So women here in the CME church
Okay.
are definitely foundation
Yes.
members, definitely
Wow.
foundation, whether we have
Wow.
all their names in line or call all of them
Yes.
or not. As far
Mhm.
as we know, when the brothers were organizing,
Yes.
sisters were there also. They just didn't get the recognition.
Wow. Wow.
Uh-huh.
Wow.
Uh-huh.
Interesting. That's very
Uh-huh. Because
interesting.
somebody had to fry the chicken.
Somebody had to do
And
it.
somebody had to cook the sweet potato pies and the
Yes.
greens.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I don't think the brothers was in there doing
Them
none of that.
brothers were not in there doing that. You're right, Dr. George. I the in chapter 3 of my book, I talk about the women
Yes.
who held up the church.
Oh, yeah.
And I know that they held it up because I was a boy preacher. I've been preaching in the
Okay.
CME church since I was 16 years old. And
Mm,
accepted my call. Didn't know what I was doing, but I accepted the call at
that's
16
right.
there at
That's all right.
Usher's Temple CME Church in Fort Valley, Georgia. And the first
Wonderful.
woman pastor of that church was
Mhm.
Reverend Etha Pitts.
Yes.
I don't know if you, yeah, Reverend Etha Pitts. And now
Yes.
there's another
Mm-hmm.
woman in ministry, the Reverend Tawana Harris, who is a
Uh-huh.
presiding elder. She's
Yes.
pastoring, and she invited me back to preach a few months ago. I think it was last year, Pentecost
Okay.
Sunday. And so she and I have made ourselves very familiar with one another. And so I'm
Good.
about collaboration. And so I
Yeah.
want to talk to you about collaboration rather than competition because there seems to be
Yes.
so much competition
Mm,
among clergy, and it shouldn't be.
mm, mm,
And so why is partnership between men and women in
mm.
ministry so important to have effective evangelism today? Can you talk to that?
Why is it important
Yes,
to have collaboration?
yes.
Because Jesus designed ministry that way. You will find that I try. Some days I miss,
Okay.
but I try to look through the eyes of Jesus
Wow.
when
Wow.
it comes from what I know as ministry, never through the eyes of anything or anybody
Okay.
else. And my
Yes.
reason is because Jesus is the one who orchestrated this ministry.
Wow. Wow.
None of us,
That's right. That's
none
right.
of us
That's right.
did.
That's right.
And Jesus is the one who gave Jesus's life and
Hmm.
prove who
Hmm.
he was so we could do his ministry. I think that's where the mix up comes.
Okay.
The
Okay.
mix up comes when we forget, or the competition comes when we forget that ministry is about Jesus
It's about Jesus.
and
Yes.
not about our egos
Yes.
or
Yes.
even about our education. In fact, we should cherish
Hmm.
what the Lord has given us to give to
Right.
God's people
That's
with the
right.
same spirit Jesus
That's right.
demonstrated. Jesus, if you allow me
Wow.
not to sound disrespectful, but Jesus was a bad dude.
That's right.
Jesus handled Jesus's ministry,
Yes. Yes.
and
Yes.
that he
Yes.
put women and men together.
Yes. He did.
Well, let me help you out.
Yeah.
And,
Okay.
and he had to fix it first, though.
Yes. Yes.
And
Yes.
what I mean by he had to fix it, Jesus is the only one in the New Testament
Hmm.
who did for women what no other apostle could do.
That's right.
Anywhere you see Jesus in
Hmm.
the Gospels,
Hmm.
he
Hmm.
is bringing women into their rightful place, rebuking
Yes.
them to get their head on straight. The
Wow.
woman at the
Wow.
well, he
Hmm.
told, look, girl, I'm paraphrasing. I know who you've been with,
Right.
and
Right.
I know
Right.
why you've been there.
That's right.
And
That's
if you knew who it was asking you for this water, you
yes.
would gladly give him
Gladly.
some.
Wow.
And so I'm just paraphrasing. He got
Yes.
her head
Yes.
on straight to the point, in my eyes, in my theology, she became the first evangelist.
You're absolutely right. You're
The
absolutely right.
woman, the woman at the well
Wow.
was the first one that I remember, and I'm
Mhm.
just sitting here, I ain't got no books,
Okay.
that went around telling the brothers, come see.
Come see.
Lord help
Come
me.
see. You better
Come
say it.
see a man who has told me everything that I've
That
ever done.
that's right. That's right. Well, I tell you
But
what,
but
you
but hold on.
okay.
Look at what she was.
Yes.
She
Yes.
was a derelict, thrown out, been married 6 times.
Wow.
And during those days, a brother could divorce a sister by going out in, according to history, going out in the areas where men hung out. The elders hung out and turning to the east and saying 3 times, I divorce you, I divorce you, I divorce you. So
Yes.
Jesus brought her back into right relationship. I know you didn't ask for all of this, but however, she was the first evangelist,
Right.
and he used a nothing person. So anywhere you see Jesus, I'll
Wow.
stop there. Anywhere you see Jesus and a woman is depicted in the text, he's
Yes.
bringing her into right relationship. So if Jesus has brought her in right
Hmm.
relationship
Hmm. Hmm.
and equal her to everyone else, why can't we just work it out and
Wow.
work together as men and women and forget all of the foolishness of egos
Wow.
and do evangelism work?
And do evangelism work? So you spot on. Now the preacher has stepped in the room, y'all.
Well, I don't mean no
This-
harm. I can't help it. I love it. I
I know
just
it. I know
do.
it. And I'm welcoming everything I'm
Uh,
hearing because you're spot on in terms of everything that I've shared in this chapter 3 of the structural integrity of the church,
oh, okay.
collaboration between men and women.
Mm-hmm,
It
mm-hmm,
has
mm-hmm,
to be there. The first church I ever pastored,
mm-hmm,
and
mm-hmm.
Bishop Joseph C. Coles Jr., my
Yes.
bishop for 20 years
Mm-hmm.
in Georgia.
Yes.
I'm sure you remember
Yes.
him.
Oh, yes.
He ordained me,
Praise the Lord.
ordained me elder, admitted me into full connection, but I was so young. I think I was around maybe 22 years old before
Oh,
he would allow
bless your
me to
heart.
pastor.
Yes.
He told me the wolves are going to eat you up.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
was so young, and I did not know what he was talking about, but I trusted him, and he sent me
Mm-hmm.
to a church, Mount Zion
Mm-hmm.
CME Church on
Mm-hmm.
Pea Ridge Road.
Okay.
5 women were the
Mm-hmm.
leaders of that church. There were no men,
Okay.
5 women, and so I pastored
Mm-hmm.
that church for a year. And it was one of the most tremendous times I'd ever experienced,
Yeah.
um, working and serving. Even though it was my first pastorate, I enjoyed the women. They embraced me. They said,
Mm-hmm.
"Pastor, we got you. Don't worry about it. We're gonna pay the budget. We're gonna work with you. Whatever you need. You're young. You can be our grandson. We're not gonna
That's
mess
right.
with you. We're concerned that other people gonna get you when you leave here." So I didn't quite understand, but I understood it when I got my next appointment because
Got
there
it.
were men and women, and the women had been marginalized
Mm-hmm.
that church. And one of the women had enough courage at a church conference to say, "Pastor, we don't mean you any disrespect, but when are you, me,
Mm-hmm.
going to allow women to be in leadership?
Mm-hmm.
All the men have been in leadership in this church for years. We don't have any women stewards. We don't have any
Mm-hmm.
women trustees.
Mm-hmm.
The women who were called to preach, they told them to sit down and get on the missionary board, join the stewardess. You can't. I said, what in the world? I said, well, women are equal in our church. Officers, the stewardess are officers, and
Yeah.
from my perspective in our church, and so they all look with a quiet hush in the
Mm-hmm.
room.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
one of the men said, well, Pastor, now you young. Now we 130 years old here. And so you want to work with us now. Let's keep things going the way it is. I said, well, I'm sorry, I can't do it. I've gotta have some equality here in this church with women. And unfortunately, or fortunately, he was the husband of one of the women felt
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
marginalized. Then I
Yeah.
said,
Yeah.
now, I'm
Mm-hmm.
not trying to start nothing, brother. I
Mm-hmm.
really not. But I need your wife to be a
Mm-hmm.
trustee in this church. He said, well,
Mm-hmm.
you on your own, Pastor, with that. And it was
Wow.
beautiful. I made her a trustee. And the
Wonderful.
history of that church is that it's the first woman that held an office
Yes.
in the church because really women just sat quietly They didn't do anything other than what the men told them to do. But the women were undergirding the prayer services. They were
Oh,
undergirding
sure.
all of the other things that were taking place in the church. And
Mhm,
my my vision to get the women out the kitchen. I said,
mhm,
let's get them. That's the only
mhm,
thing they could really do. Um,
mhm.
in some churches, they would allow them to serve in the kitchen, but I said, no, we're not going to do that. And so, have there
Okay.
been women, I think, Dr. Joyce, that have shaped your ministry?
Mhm,
I
mhm,
know you have some women that shape your ministry
mhm,
and that strengthen your life for your
mhm,
journey because there are some young women in ministry that are going to be watching this podcast. There are some women
mhm.
who are struggling right now in
Yeah.
their ministries. I talk to a lot of them. And so
Mhm,
they need to hear your voice in terms of
mhm,
who strengthened you, who helped to shape you in your
mhm.
ministry.
Again, let me start where I come from. I am a Mississippi woman,
Wow.
and I believe the shaping of ministry starts with your childhood,
Hmm.
if possible. Let me put it that way. My mother had a lot to do with getting us to church. I
Okay.
come from a long ecumenical background.
Okay. Okay.
I was Baptist as a child,
Oh, wow.
and my mother demonstrated ministry by her lifestyle,
Hmm.
being involved in the church, and so I learned from her. Number
Hmm.
one, uh, um, in terms of ministry, my mother, Mrs. Connie Johnson, who
Okay.
was my voice teacher uh, and choir director of the school from my fifth grade through high
Wow.
school,
Wow.
Connie
Powerful.
Johnson. And
Powerful.
then there was Mrs. Connie Johnson, and then there was Mrs. Merle Macklin,
Hmm.
who was the dean of girls at the school, who refused to let me stay at home on the 2 Sundays that we didn't have church in the Baptist church.
Wow.
She insisted that I come to her church and sang in her choir, which was the United Methodist Church, on
Yes.
those 2 Sundays off. Merle
Wow.
Macklin, okay?
Okay. Okay.
And all of my mother had a set of twin sisters. Their
Okay.
names were Mary and Martha.
Wow. Wow.
And then my younger two aunties, Mabel and Lily.
Okay.
Those women helped put the foundation in me to move forward. All of them Mississippi folk.
Okay. Okay.
And Miss Dora Adams, who lived down the street on our block, who was Pentecostal, Church of God in Christ.
Yes. Yes.
And she was there to keep us kids straight in terms of how to do and what to do in the neighborhood when our parents weren't looking.
Yes.
Those
Yes.
were sisters in my early lifestyle that helped shape me. Now I
Yes.
must be honest with
Okay.
you
Okay.
in terms of ministry. I didn't have very many sisters helping me.
Okay.
Uh,
Okay.
it was mostly men. You will find women have not worked out
Okay. Mhm.
uh,
Mhm.
their spirit of competition with other women.
Oh, wow. Okay. All right. Now we own to something.
Okay. So
We
I
own to
had
something.
very few women
Hmm.
who invested in me, like I'm trying to
Yes.
do now among the younger women,
Yes.
because
Yes.
women have not worked out their femininity,
Yes.
their
Yes.
womanhood versus their divinity,
Yes.
their godness. Because when
That's
you
right.
learn who God really is in you, then
Yes.
you don't play that stuff, that competition of
That's right. That's right.
behind other sisters' backs.
Wow.
And so, I mean, when you know who you know and what you know, you just
Yes.
don't do that.
Yes. That's
So
right.
I had very few women in church
Okay.
that helped me. I had more criticism
Yes. 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 Yes.
from sisters in church.
Wow.
Then I had brothers. Now my mentors for church. I'm just
Yes.
telling the truth. I'm not gonna make up nothing.
I know it.
My mentors for church work basically came through men. Very few women
Very few women.
would sit me. Oh, there's one other lady who
Okay.
lives now in California.
Okay.
Ruby Ramey,
Okay.
evangelist Ruby Ramey,
Okay.
was the only woman I know
Okay. Okay.
that took up some time with me when I was in my 20s and my 30s. And that's because she was over the children's ministry of the church and she wanted me to be the director of the children's
Yes.
choir. But
Yes.
in terms of other ministry, very,
Wow. Wow.
they either wanted me to come preach, teach, um, or sing,
Wow.
but not no mentoring. I got that from
Wow.
brothers,
Wow.
brothers.
That's
I'm
interesting,
just that's my
Dr.
life. That's
George. I mean that's really interesting because it it's a trend, unfortunately, in
yeah, yeah,
many of
yeah.
our churches. And I pastored a church in Dallas for 21 years. That one
Mm-hmm,
church did a lot of ministry there. Had a lot of women in ministry, and I've trained
mm-hmm,
and mentored
mm-hmm,
women. Took them through the process as chair of ministerial examination and
mm-hmm,
got them their deacon's orders, their full
mm-hmm,
connection, their,
mm-hmm,
of
mm-hmm.
course, their elders' orders and all of that. And
Yeah.
then now, currently, downtown Fort Worth, Morning Chapel, the Rock
Mm-hmm,
Church, has
mm-hmm.
three women in ministry. I have no men.
Wonderful,
Uh,
wonderful.
my wife, Reverend Tanisha, serves
Uh-huh.
as on the technology team.
Wonderful.
Reverend Yolanda Smith Simpkins is my
Okay.
associate minister.
Okay.
And then
Okay.
Reverend Dr. Bernice King Strong, who
Yeah.
is a trained psychologist
Yes.
and
Yes.
therapist. She's in
Uh-huh.
the pulpit and she's serving and working, no men. And so they work hard and
I
do a
love it.
wonderful job in ministry.
Yes.
And I
Yes.
just thank God and praise the Lord for what they're doing and how they are serving together
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
doing a great work
Mm-hmm.
in ministry. But they share with me from time to
Mm-hmm.
time. They say, "Well,
Mm-hmm.
Pastor, everybody not like you. You know, you you allow us to serve and work, and when they get invited to other churches, they come back with stories
Yes.
about
I'm sure. I'm sure they do. Let me cite some of the men,
okay,
if you will, that
yes,
have been a blessing to my life.
okay,
Giving the fact that I come from an ecumenical background,
hmm,
um, and having the exposure of
yes,
singing in a community choir back in the day that was
okay,
made up of all different denominations in the city of
yes,
Chicago.
hmm,
I was able to network with all of those folk. When I say different
okay, hmm,
denominations, I mean all of them. You name it: Baptist, Methodist,
oh wow,
Pentecostal,
okay,
Assemblies of God,
wow,
Apostolic,
okay,
Methodist, all branches. And so
yes,
some of the brothers that saw my gifts
hmm,
back in those days, even before I became CME,
okay,
was a retired bishop, Nathaniel Jarrett of the AME Zion Church. He served as our spiritual advisor
yeah,
to the Voices of Melody under the direction
yes,
of Charles Clancy.
okay,
Back in the day in my 30s, he
oh,
served like a when I was in my 30s, he was like a spiritual big brother.
hmm,
Uh,
hmm,
and in my non-denominational days, I learned a lot from Apostle Richard Hinton
okay.
uh, in Chicago. I was there at that.
Okay, I've heard of him. I've heard of
Oh
him.
yes, yeah, I
Great
was
man of
there.
God.
I was a member of that church for over
Okay.
20 years before the Lord began to move upon
Wow.
me. And I did a lot of singing and traveling with him in his early days and served as auxiliary presidents of some of the youth ministries and got my first license for evangelism under him. And then there is Albert Sampson here in Chicago of the United Methodist Church.
Okay.
Uh, that I spent 5 years under his leadership
Wow.
at the Fernwood United Methodist Church before they decided to say, you too wild for us. Yeah, you preach too hard and you want to do all this stuff. We don't want to be bothered with all that. That's what I'm paraphrasing, but that is what they said. So, and then I was in Detroit at Bishop Gregory Ingram's church, AME,
Yes.
doing a women's conference, and I met a sister from the CME church, and she invited me to preach for their first Women's Day.
Okay.
And her pastor was O.R. Jackson
I know him.
uh, at
Yes.
Lane Tabernacle in St. Louis.
St.
I've never
Louis.
been so blessed to
Yes.
serve under or to go to a worship service and be so welcomed. I hadn't
Yes.
experienced that except for the AMEs under
Hmm.
Bishop Gregory Ingram back in
Okay.
those days. And
That's right.
he wasn't bishop then, he was pastor.
Okay.
And then under Nate Jarrett at the AME Zion Church. And so when I got there, I said, oh, I like these people. I like what I'm feeling here. OR and Elizabeth Jackson embraced me as a daughter.
Wow. Wow.
And I preached for their first Women's Day at the 11 o'clock service. And I said, when I get home, I'm going to look up them CME folk
Yes.
and
Yes.
see if I can find me a CME church. And
Wow.
I was
Wow.
watching television and on Saturday looking at the Jesse Jackson's push operation. And there
Yes.
stood Bishop Henry Milton Williamson Sr., who
Absolutely.
had gone over to help Operation Push in those days. I said,
Yes.
oh, that was a young man. I said, I'm going to go and sit in the back of the church. And
Oh,
would go after the United Methodist said no, I would go and sit in the back of Carter Temple after I'd gotten back home from
right.
St. Louis, and
Wow.
I wanted to see if they were as friendly as the
Yes.
people in St. Louis and
Right.
loving. They didn't know me, but they were loving and they
Wow.
were kind.
Wow.
And so I went, I said, well, I like this spirit. Okay. So
Hmm.
I called him and made an appointment to go and talk to him.
Okay. Okay.
After I had conferred with Nate Jarrett, a retired bishop in AME Zion. And
Right.
Nate told me, he said, Essie, Henry and I have Thanksgiving services together every year. So if you don't want to come over here with us in the AME Zion Church, I certainly say go to be with the
Yes.
CMEs.
Yes.
So
Yes.
I met, and the rest he became Henry Williamson. Bishop Williamson became like a big brother to me,
Yes.
introduced me to Bishop Isom, and Bishop Isom took me in as a daughter, and the rest is history. It's always been brothers. Now I must say, Mrs. Mrs. Williamson and
Yes.
Mrs. Jackson, in
Okay.
terms of CME sisters,
Yes.
are
Yes.
sisters that I can say embrace me. And also Pat Miller, the one that invited me to become their Women's Day speaker.
Wow, that is
Yeah,
actually
yeah,
tremendous. I
yeah.
so you're all in my book in chapter 3,
Okay,
the call to
wonderful.
action is
Mm.
where I am. It's on page 43
All
in my
right.
book. It deals with women in ministry, strengthening the structure and
Mm.
doing some kind of self-evaluation of
Hmm.
our church's evangelism framework
Okay.
and really looking at the strengths of that foundation and framework,
Hmm.
and also trying to encourage people to join in with evangelism work.
Hmm.
That's the number one thing in call to action. Number two is to reinforce with discipleship, to
Hmm.
train and develop in discipleship, to nurture new believers in our churches. It's like you went to that church and the
Yeah.
people were loving and
Oh
friendly.
man, I never experienced
So,
anything like it.
so now
Never.
when you kind of thing, you want to return to
That's
that
right.
kind of space.
That's right.
And then building an evangelism team is the third
Hmm.
thing.
Hmm.
Um, raising up women builders is
Uh-huh.
another thing,
Mhm.
because women have helped the church in
Yes.
so many ways, not
Yes.
only just in pulpit or pastoring or
Mhm.
ministers, but
Mhm.
also just in ministries in the
Mhm.
church,
Mhm.
administration in the church. I've got tremendous trustees and stewards, uh,
Yes.
Christian educators and
Mhm.
Sunday school teachers, all of those persons um, in our church who are women in leadership, and I'm not intimidated by it at all. These women are
Wonderful.
educated women,
Yeah.
working and serving in the life of the church and throughout
Mhm.
the history of the Black church, as you all
Right.
know,
Mhm.
women have offered themselves in the church,
Mhm.
serving
Mhm.
and working and laboring.
Mhm.
So I want you to give us some practical steps, if you can,
Mhm.
about what some of our churches can do to give more opportunities for women and evangelism, because there's some kind of static when it comes to women in leadership and women in ministry. Shouldn't be in the 21st century, but it is.
Well, I think there are several things we can do.
Okay.
And the first thing we can do is learn to respect what we already have in place.
Okay.
One, if we would respect what we have allowed people to put in our book of disciplines.
Okay. Okay. Hmm.
See, we're not a church that's struggling to find our way. We have already established ourselves
Yes. Yes.
as pastors
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
leaders. We
Yes.
must implement what we have
Yes.
in place. I find that to be an issue,
Yes.
that
Yes.
we have a lack of implementing
Hmm.
all of the guidelines
Okay.
that we have in place in the life of our church. And so one
Yes.
thing I would say, we need to do more in-house teaching and training,
Okay.
starting with our leaders.
Hmm. Hmm.
Starting with our leaders, but let me back up and say, starting with holding our church conferences. Let
Okay.
me back up
Yes.
and go there
Okay.
first.
That's good. That's good. That's good.
Church conferences should be number one things. Why?
Yes. Yes.
Because it is the time for everyone to come and share what's
Yes.
on their hearts.
Right. Right.
You can
Right.
find
Right.
out how to move a congregation if
Yes.
indeed you can get them to open up in church conference and not in the parking lot.
Right. 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 Right.
See, so
Mhm.
we got to make ourselves more available to church conferences and letting the folk put their agenda, no matter how small it is, uh, uh, on the written agenda that is to be discussed at church
Yes.
conference.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Because, see, once we allow folk to feel good about what they got to say, then
Right.
you have the opportunity to get some commitments from them.
That's right. That's right. That's
But
right.
if they are sitting there on the pew mad
Man.
and holding pew church conferences,
Yes.
we gonna always have a problem. So
Okay. Communication.
communication, starting with what we got in place, and that
Okay.
is respect church conferences. A lot of folk don't have church conferences.
Wow.
No,
Unbelievable.
no, 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 no. They don't want to have no church conference because they
Wow.
don't want to hear what folk got to say. But that's where it is done.
Yeah, it
You
is. It
hold
is.
church conferences. You need to hold them once a month.
Yes. Yes.
And listen, let the people empty up. Let the
Yes.
people empty up.
That's right.
Then get commitment from them emptying up.
Yes.
How you gonna make this happen?
That's right. That's right. That's
Since you
one.
want it, how we gonna get it done?
How we gonna get it done?
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
What are you willing? Where are your resources? Where's your talent to make sure it happens? See,
Yes.
I learned that if you want folk to work with you, they gotta feel like they're
Yes.
part of
All
the
right.
process.
All right. All right. Yes. Yes.
If they
Yes.
do not feel like they are part and have ownership, they ain't coming. They
They're
ain't gonna
not
work
coming.
with you.
They're not coming. They're not going to work.
So it's about ownership. Everywhere
Mhm.
I've pastored, I have had training sessions. They used to get tired of me, but it was about acknowledging the laws of what we have written. And here's the kicker. The
Yes.
kicker is when you acknowledge what's written in our laws, it's
Yes.
not about you.
Right.
It's
Right.
not about your ego.
Right.
It's not about what you want, but what we put in the laws of our church at the general
At
conference.
the General Conference. Absolutely.
So we
Absolutely.
respect that. So they can't use what you want because that ain't what you giving them. What you
That's
giving them is what we've read. We don't practice enough.
we don't
That's
practice.
my we don't honor our church conferences like we should, and we shouldn't
Yes.
slide through quarterly
Yes.
conferences.
That's right. That's right. You're a retired presiding elder. You
Man,
you know the
look,
quarterly conference.
look. We should be intentional about
Mhm.
this work.
Okay.
We should lift up the moral standards
Yes.
about
Yes.
this work
That's
and
right.
stop looking for some outside when we got it all already.
Right. Right.
I'm,
Right.
I'm serious about this. We
Yes.
got it right in our laws. All we got to do is work it.
That's right.
Every church that I've ever pastored, that's how I've worked it. The
Wow.
first church Bishop Isom gave me was a merged church that he took two little small churches. And I'm not
Mhm.
against small churches, but he merged two small churches here in Chicago. And I was a new person. He gave the new small merged church to me.
Okay. Okay.
And I had to go find a home for him because the
Wow.
on one side of the merger, the church had burned up. On the other side
Mm.
of the merger, the lights was off.
Wow.
The gas was no, the only thing was on was the lights. The gas
Yes.
was off. The water was cut off.
Oh,
And
Dr. George, you've seen it. You've seen it. You've seen a lot.
man, and so and I must be honest. I
Yes.
said now, I got a master's of divinity degree. I done been to seminary. And he gonna give me this. Ego talking,
You
ego.
go
He
right,
gonna give
right.
me this. Like, why can't he give me an established church and let me go to work?
Yes.
And so I got with two of my prayer partners. I said, I need prayer because I
Okay.
have the wrong spirit.
Wow. Wow.
I said, because I've asked the Lord to
Hmm.
give me a church in this denomination. And now that the bishop has given me one, I don't have the
Hmm.
right spirit to take what he's given me. So
Hmm.
I need my spirit changed.
Yes.
They prayed with me, and I went from there with the right spirit, bro. Hear me, hear me. This is our problem. Our problem
Okay. Okay.
is a lot of us don't confess what I'm confessing. I ain't no better than nobody else, so
I
that's not why
understand.
I'm confessing it.
I
I'm
wholeheartedly
con-
understand.
Okay, I'm confessing it because that's the mentality of a lot of our
Hmm.
people, that they
Yes.
don't want what they're given. But
Yes.
once I got my head on straight, I took what he gave me and took those little people and we went through the neighborhoods and we got
Yes.
more folk to join the church.
My.
And
Yes.
after we got more folk to join the church, I begged the bishop to let me renovate the burnout church on 43rd Street,
Okay.
that's still thriving today with the mortgage paid,
Hmm.
uh, on 43rd in Champlain right today. And so we renovated that church from top to bottom, got $250,000, renovated it inside out, and the
Wow.
bishop gave me what did he gave me about $150,000 to help
Wow.
on that. So, in other words, it almost ended up being a $500,000 project, and that church is still standing today. When we got there, though, here's the kicker: we
Okay.
went through the neighborhood,
Wow.
got the children, went over in the housing developments, got
Yes.
the children. Because the kicker is this: if you get the mamas to let the children come, the
Yes.
children gonna go back home and bring the parents.
Wow, you're right about it. Hey, now what you're doing right now, Dr. George, you probably don't know it, but you are in my chapter in my book on training and development.
That was my
And
first church.
training and development, you are a trainer. And under training and development in my book, I talk
Hmm.
about being a full-time pastor. Sounds like you know
Hmm.
about that work. Being a full-time pastor and having the spiritual disciplines that
Yes.
one needs to have, and the five, in my mind, there are five core tasks of pastoral work. In the church, Moses had them, David had them, Jeremiah had them, Paul had them, all of these persons who had to lead the people of God to do what God had called them to do. And because I'm a full time pastor, um, every day I get up to serve the people. I get up
Yes.
to go to
Yeah.
the office. I get up
Yes.
to meet with the ministry teams. I get
Mhm.
up to
Yes.
establish the budget and to
Hmm.
implement what we said we were going to do in the budget and not
Hmm.
tell the people one thing and do another
Hmm.
because we have to do it. And so that's the blueprint
Hmm.
of where I
Hmm.
am as a full-time pastor. And so I want you to
Hmm.
talk to us. You're retired, presiding elder, retired pastor, and there are a lot of women who've been called to ministry. A lot of them.
Hmm.
A lot of them been called to evangelism. They've been called to leadership, but they feel uncertain
Hmm.
or even overlooked. Uh,
Hmm.
and so, what would you say to those younger women? And I
Hmm.
will go on record and say that there may be a couple right around me under my nose that I know
Hmm.
are feeling some sense of uncertainty about ministry or women's role is in ministry. And so you're going to be a prime example that you can do it. You can
Well,
do it.
first, they need to understand that God does the calling.
Wow.
God does the calling. And if they really, really, really feel that God has called them to ministry, they have got to undergird themselves with the word of God that will empower them to move forward. One one of my very first scriptures rather that has enabled me to deal mentally with the rejection and with the uncertainty
Okay.
is the one that I preached from at the Unity Summit.
Okay.
2 Timothy 1 and 7,
Hmm.
where Paul talks to Timothy about his calling.
Hmm.
And that third verse, that seventh verse simply says, God has not given us the spirit of fear. A lot of that anxiety that sisters are feeling is the wanting validation. But
Okay.
see, validation got to first come because you are sure God called you.
My, my, my.
Uh-huh.
My, my, my.
You got to know the validation comes from God.
Yes, yes, yes,
Uh-huh.
yes, yes.
Because everybody is not going to be happy for you, okay? And,
Okay.
and
Mhm.
so that text, that verse simply says God has not given us fear.
Okay.
So you got to take a stand, or find your passage
Hmm.
that will help you when you find yourself, sisters, in spaces and brothers where you need to feel empowered. God has not
Yes.
given you fear. God
That's
don't
right.
give fear.
That's
Whenever
right.
you're feeling fear, that comes from the ungod,
They're right,
not from
right.
our God, but the ungod.
The ungod. Right, right,
Okay,
right. That's right.
and
That's
so
right.
uh Paul moves to tell Timothy, God gives you three things. That
Okay.
is power.
Power.
Yeah, child.
Hmm.
Gives you power.
That's right.
Then God gives you love.
Love.
You
That's
don't
right.
hear me.
That's
And
right.
God
That's right.
gives you self-control.
Yes.
Those are the
Yes.
three. Those are the three for women to be able to manage in order to do ministry anywhere.
Anywhere.
Know that God gives you power.
Yes.
Now, and power can also be demonstrated by getting favor from the bishop, like Bishop Isom gave me. He didn't know
Right.
me.
Right. Right.
Isom
Right.
gave me permission to go to the bank and get all that money on one signature, and that was
Wow.
mine.
Your signature.
My signature and a resolution from him.
Wow.
I'm just talking about what God will do.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yes, woman.
So he gave me permission to go to the bank to
Hmm.
get that money.
Yes.
And so, sisters, you cannot be afraid.
Okay.
You
Okay.
can't look for outside validation. The
Yes.
validation you get comes through you getting with the Lord, building your lifestyle up with God. Hold on with me, bro.
Yes.
You
Yes.
got to build a relationship with the
Yes.
Lord that can take you in any house, the White House, your house, my house, any house.
Right. Right.
Okay? Because see, when you build your relationship with God, God deals with that fear
That's
and
right.
takes that fear away.
That's right.
Okay,
That's right. That's
so
right.
then number one, he gives you power. When you open your
Power.
mouth, he gonna anoint you. It's
Yes.
not
Yes.
about validation of you, but the validation of the Lord. The
Right. Right.
Lord will anoint you. It gives
That's
you
right.
power.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Anointing is nothing but power that flow from
Power.
God.
That's right. That's
Then God gives you love. Here I go now.
right. Yeah. Yeah.
Love to follow leadership. That's
Yes.
some of
Yes.
our problems.
Okay.
We want to do what we want to do when we already have rules set up for what you want to do.
Yes.
You
Yes.
can't make
Yes.
up rules where we already have rules.
Can't do it. Can't do it.
Read, study.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Yes.
So that's number two. He gives you love to love the church enough
Yes.
that you want to
Yes.
honor and respect it to do the work of the church.
Wow.
And then how you going to do that? Through your self-discipline.
That's right.
God gives discipline, a sound mind. I went to
Sound
school
mind.
on that, worked full-time jobs on that.
Yes. Yes.
I, and,
Yes.
and worked on a doctor's degree, a master's degree, and finished up my undergrad. Raised two
Wow.
teenage children. When you love God,
When you love God. Wow.
God would open doors and give you favor everywhere
Give
I
you
went.
favor.
He
My,
did
my, my.
nothing. He did nothing but give me favor.
Yes. Yes.
Because,
Yes.
but here's the other part of that. God has to be able to trust you with favor.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Because you got to understand what is happening in your ministry is
Yes.
not for you to gloat and push your chest out, but to
That's right.
glorify and edify God. It's all
Wow.
about God.
Wow.
Do what Jesus did. Jesus
Wow.
made the church look good.
Wow.
So
Wow.
that's my passage. That's for anybody. If you want to do something for God, keep yourself out of God's way. Be willing to allow yourself to go through the test, go
Yes.
through the trial. See, a lot of times we want to whine and they don't want me. You ain't no
Right. Right.
you can't become no victim.
Right. Right.
You
Right.
see that overlooked stuff is a victim
It
holding
is.
pity parties. God
It
bless you,
is.
but
It
that's how I
is.
see it.
Yeah, it's
That's
good.
how
It's good word. It's good word.
that's pity partying.
Good word. Good word.
And pity partying don't have you got to be tough and rough in Jesus,
In
and allow God to make a new you in you. What am I
yes.
saying? I'm saying the test and the trials of feeling neglected is a
Yes.
part of the growth.
Growth. Growth. Yes.
When you
Yes.
are able to understand everybody is not going to be for you,
They're not.
but when
They're
it's
not.
your time,
Right.
God will open the door.
Yes.
But God
Yes.
got to be able to trust you with the door.
Wow. Wow.
That's all I'm saying.
That's
So if we
amazing.
can get over, as women, where they overlooking me. When the last time you went to school?
Right.
And
Right.
since you want to be in ministry, Lord help me, don't let me. I know I come over hard, but since you want to be in ministry, prepare for ministry. Don't go to school to get a master's degree in making cups. Go to school and get a master's degree in uh ministry.
Ministry. Yes. Ministry.
If you want to be a minister, you go prepared to be a minister.
Prepare.
But don't go in if to learn how to make umbrellas
You,
just to say you got a master's.
no.
You need a master's of divinity degree
Yes,
in
yes,
order
yes,
to care and nurture the
yes.
lives of God's people. And it
Wow.
makes it easy for you when
Yes.
you go to school, you
Mhm.
learn the tricks. Here's the deal. You eat the meat when you go to school and throw away the bones.
Way the bones. That's it. That's
That's
it.
how you do it.
That's right.
So you
That's
get
right.
that because you don't want a dentist who has not been trained pulling your
Yes.
teeth. You don't want a
No, no.
surgeon who
Right.
has not been trained to be a surgeon
Wow.
operating on you or anyone in your family.
That's right.
You
That's right.
don't hear me. You don't want a psychiatrist messing with your head who has not gone to school for psychiatrists
That's right.
to be a
That's right. To
psychiatrist.
be a psychiatrist.
So the same thing for ministry. I don't
Same
like these
thing.
shortcuts that people do. They
Right.
want to run over here and get it on the computer
Yeah.
and then come back and say they got all that. No, go sit in the classroom.
Sit in the class.
Learn.
Yes. Yes.
Since you want to do God's ministry. That's
My
all I'm
God.
saying I did.
That you said that's all you said you
I
did.
worked hard.
I know you
I,
did. I
I
know
worked
you
hard.
work hard. You
I
work hard.
worked I worked
Yeah.
hard. Not because I thought I was so good. I worked hard because I did not want God to be displeased. And
Yes.
because even with working hard, bro,
Right.
you
Right.
make mistakes. Even when you go to school, you
Yes.
make
Yes.
mistakes. But
Right.
what we have to do is learn,
Mhm.
even when you make some mistakes, be big enough, bold enough, bright enough, brilliant enough to own what you did and
Wow. Wow.
apologize when you mess up.
Yes. That's right. Apologize when you mess up.
School, seminary help you to see you don't
Yes.
know as much as you think you know.
Right. 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 That's
And
right.
it show you how God is chiseling the you out of you, working
Wow.
the you out. Oh Lord.
Yes. Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
some of my most humble,
Yes.
humblest lessons was
Yes.
learning that I didn't know what I thought I knew.
Wow. Wow.
Oh
Dr.
God.
Joy, don't let me overwork you because I'm telling you, I'm listening. I'm all
No,
these
I'm enjoying
nuggets,
it. I
all
mean,
these nuggets you are
I'm just
giving.
calling it like it is. Go to
We
school,
need this. We need this.
go to school, prepare
Yes.
because our church honor
Mhm.
preparation. See, what gets me is they'll look at a pastor with a first church and want to be a first church, but have not done the work that
Yes.
person has done. And
Right.
even
Right.
sometimes those persons who have done the work make mistakes.
Wow. That's right. That's right.
But they also understand that they make mistakes and they have
Yes.
to get right back up and start all over again.
No.
Prepare. All I'm
Pre-
saying is don't
Prepare,
look for something you ain't prepared for.
and you have
And
not
don't
prepared.
blame us when you
Right.
don't prepare. Don't blame the church.
Right. That's right. That's right. Don't
Go
blame the church.
prepare. Go
Yeah.
prepare, then come back. Because I
Wow.
guarantee you, if
Mhm.
you go prepare yourself, get
That's
your
right.
bachelor's.
Yes, 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 yes.
Please try to get it in
Yes.
administration because we
Absolutely.
need administrators in our churches.
We need it. We need it badly.
Get your bachelor's in
Mhm.
administration, get
Mhm.
your master's in ministry.
Yes,
And if
yes,
the
yes.
Lord allow you, then you can go back and get a doctorate in
Yeah,
ministry or a PhD so you can go teach
that's right. Go teach. Go teach. That's
others
right.
to come
Now,
back. So
now let me
I
ask you
don't, can
this.
I be honest with you, Brian? Let me just tell you, I have I need help.
Okay,
It's a
okay.
growing
Right.
edge. Let me put it this way.
Okay.
It's a growing edge for me when sisters feel like they left out or feel like they looked over.
Wow. Wow.
That's victim. To me, that's playing victim.
Yes, yes,
Because
it
when you
is.
don't want to be looked over, you
Right.
put your head down and
Mm-hmm.
you do the work.
Do the
And I
work.
guarantee you, the folk in leadership will come for you.
They'll come for you. They will.
But
Absolutely.
if
They
you are
will.
unqualified and you want what Jane Doe has, who have worked
Yes.
herself to death, you won't
Yes.
get that.
You won't get there.
Not in our Zion, because we honor
Mhm.
scholarly work. We
We honor
want you to
that. Mhm.
grow. So
Yes.
I didn't mean to, you know,
Well, hey,
to
it needed to be said, and I thank God for you. I want to ask you my final question. I know you
sure.
have you're a published author.
Yes.
You've done work, and
Mhm.
tell us about your book and what inspired you to write the book.
It is entitled, They Said It Couldn't Be Done.
Oh, wow,
The Impact of Stewardship.
wow,
I've already shared some of it with you,
Mhm.
in terms of how you take a handful of people
Right,
and you raise thousands of dollars
wow,
by doing the work of community development in the life of God's church.
okay,
Uh, I It's all about, this book is all about partnership,
okay, okay.
collaboration,
Collaboration, yes,
small group settings, and
yes,
people feeling empowered
hmm
at all levels of the church.
wow,
All levels of the church. That's all this book is about. How to do it, how
hmm
to collaborate. And what you see is a sketch from my artist of the church, the first church that I pastored.
okay,
Um, and that was Murchison Isom. And how we brought this church into city code. This church has an
yes.
elevator in it.
Oh,
There's
wow,
been an elevator in this church since we renovated it, because
okay.
we renovated it with the handicap in mind.
Okay,
We
okay,
renovated it with people who were unable to move mobily like everyone else. We
yes, yes,
renovated it around a declined community. When we did that church, it was the only, renovated that church, it was the only thing standing on that
wow,
side of the street. Now, when you go there, that whole community is
yes,
fully developed.
wow,
How did I know about the development? Because I put the work in. I went
right,
to City Hall. I studied what
yes,
was happening in the community for the next 25 years.
yes, absolutely,
And
absolutely,
I found out that it
wow,
was going to be, the neighborhood was going
yes,
to be an uprising community. And
yes,
I convinced, with the help of the Lord, Bishop Isom, to allow me to renovate that church. And now it sits in one of the black gold coasts of the city of Chicago,
wow,
Bronzeville community.
wow.
I don't know if I
I tell you,
said something, but it's about the little people. They didn't have
okay,
a lot of money. I didn't make a lot of money at this
oh,
church.
at
I
that,
put more in than I
oh,
made. When
you
I
just
would
said
go out
something.
preaching, when
Mm-hmm.
I would go out evangelizing, on many occasions, I would bring back people like my good brother. I forgot his name,
Mm-hmm.
and that is the Reverend Dr. Jeremiah A. Wright Jr. How I can forget his
Absolutely,
name. when
absolutely,
uh, when
absolutely.
Dr. Wright would allow me to come to Trinity
Yes.
and preach on Good Fridays,
Mm-hmm.
and to preach during the women's conferences,
Yes.
and to preach at the women's retreats, I would
Yes.
bring back that money
Mm-hmm.
and turn it over to the stewards
Wow.
to pay the bills of the church. Wherever I would go, I would bring that money back, because I had a full
Yes.
time job. See,
Right.
I
Yeah.
pastored that church 11 years and worked full time and went to school and did
Wow.
all that stuff.
Yes.
So I
Yes.
would bring back that money, the whole check, and put it in their hands. And I must say, it wasn't no little check.
No, it
Cause,
was.
cause Dr. Wright don't
Yes.
roll like that. He
That
did,
right. You don't.
and he looked at me and said, "Essie, I'm gonna help you."
Right.
And Dr. Jeremiah Wright also helped married my husband and I. We'll be married 25 years in October.
Praise
He
the
took
Lord.
part in that, he and his wife.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
So you
Yes.
got to invest. All I'm doing now is giving back
Okay.
another way that I
Okay.
did when I was just getting started out in pastor. You got to give back. It can't be about you. Because see,
Right.
when we learn, ministry is about Jesus, and when we
Yes.
learn to do what Jesus wants,
That's right.
Jesus keep opening doors. I don't
Opening
go around
doors.
begging for nobody to let me come in.
That's right. That's right.
The scriptures say your gifts
Your
make
gifts.
room for you and bring you
Yes.
before great people.
Yes. I
So
tell
that's
you,
all I'm saying, bro. I love church. At
I know.
80, I still love church.
Oh my God.
I mean, I really do. And
Yeah, you
I love our church. I
yeah,
embrace this church. And I'm grateful to the Lord for allowing me
yes,
to do whatever I do in the life of the church.
yes,
I feel good about our Zion, and
yes,
I'm looking forward to you get elected
yes,
as the chair of evangelism.
yes,
I believe it's your season, and you just
yes,
hang right in there because your
yes,
spirit is right. I've done my homework on you, and I
yes,
know you've been about revitalization.
yes,
See,
yes,
you've been about ministering to people at every level, and this ain't
yes.
new for you. And
No,
you didn't just up and start this
no.
at the beginning of the quadrennial. No.
Right, right, right,
You've been
right.
doing this all of your ministry.
Yes,
I've
yes, I
checked
have.
you out. And, and
Yes,
and if we hold on, believe God, God
yes,
will allow your gifts to make room for you at another level. You're a good man. You got a good name,
yes.
and we just got to get those who are delegates to vote for you,
Well, thank
so
you.
that you
Thank
can
you.
move evangelism to the next
Yes.
level.
Thank you so much. I
Oh, no
thoroughly
problem.
enjoyed you, Dr.
No
George, and
problem.
of course, this book right here. You held up
Yes.
your book, and I'm
Yes. No
holding up,
problem.
holding up my book here.
Hmm.
Five particular areas that I've worked for over the last 30 years.
Yes, sir.
In churches that I've ministered and pastored. I've traveled all
Hmm.
over the connection, serving,
Yes.
training,
Hmm.
preaching. My
Hmm.
undergrad work
Hmm.
was in
Hmm.
architectural engineering. And so I've come
Yes.
right back and wrote a book.
Hmm. Hmm.
Metaphorically in
Hmm.
building and how to
Yes.
build uh,
Yes.
community engagement, innovative
Hmm.
outreach, and
Hmm.
training and development, collaborative
Hmm.
leadership. We talked
Yes.
about all this today,
Yes, I know.
and
Hmm.
strategic evangelism. We
And
talk,
all you need is an opportunity to prove your
yeah.
gifts and graces
Yes,
in the
I do.
life of the CME church. And I'm praying
Yes.
towards that end, that God would
Well,
give you
thank
the
you.
opportunity to do the work.
Thank you.
Because see, it's not something that you're dreaming up. You've been
Right.
doing it all your ministry.
I've
So
been
we're
doing it.
gonna believe God. Thank
Well,
you for
thank
the
you.
invite though, bro.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Dr. George. And a vote for Hollingshead is a vote for the future of the
Amen.
CME Church, for the Department of Evangelism and Missions. And I
Yes,
certainly
yes.
ask for prayer, support, but I really need the vote
That's
to
right.
be able to be
Hmm.
elected as your
Hmm.
next general secretary. And I'll go on
Yes.
record and say that I'm looking forward to General Conference.
Yes.
I'm excited about it. I know
Yes,
you'll
me
be
too.
there.
Oh
I know
yeah, I'll be
you'll be
there.
there. Yes.
Hmm.
And
I'll be there.
so we thank God.
I'm looking forward to all of y'all getting elected. I just love
Yes.
our process.
Yes,
I just
yes,
love how everybody is on the buzz right now.
right.
Everybody's talking about what they think gonna happen, and don't nobody know what's gonna happen but God. And I
So
look forward to it.
my
Hmm.
friends who certainly are watching this podcast, you have heard from one of our
Oh,
uh,
praise God.
stellar women in ministry.
Bless you, sir.
This has been a master class.
Hmm.
um, a master
Praise God.
class for a lot of women in ministry
Hmm.
and men who needed to hear from such a person of such seasoning in ministry and
God
maturity
is
in
faithful.
ministry. It's been great having you, Dr. George, and I thank God
Thank
and
you.
praise the
Thank
Lord
you.
for you being here this
Thank
evening.
you.
And in our parting words, what would you want to say as we go forth and prepare for this general conference in a few days? You've been around a long time, seen a lot of general conferences. So, what would you say to all of these delegates who are on their way
I
to Dallas, Texas?
would say to everyone, please make sure, let me go natural first,
Okay.
that you come and that you don't leave your medications at home.
Wow. Wow.
Bring your meds with you. Make
Yes.
sure you have access to plenty healthy eating
Yes.
plenty water because you got work to do.
Yes, yes,
And you cannot neglect your bodies in the process.
yes.
So first, take care of yourself because you're going to need to be where you need to be when you need to be there. It's not a shopping contest
Wow.
to see
Wow.
who can outshop who. No.
Right.
General conference is a working platform for those of
Yes,
us in Methodism. And
that's right.
so come ready to work. Come ready to listen, to hear, and learn and follow leadership. It is important because let me say this as I go:
Okay.
follow your leaders, follow your leaders,
Yes,
follow your leaders. Why am I saying that? Because sometimes they know stuff we don't know.
that's right. Hmm.
So follow the leadership that God has given you for your district. Don't come talking about you're going to do what you want to do because the bishops don't need you there if you're
Right.
going to do what you want to do.
That's right.
You
Hmm.
got to love the church enough to follow leadership.
Follow leadership. Wow. Thank you so much, Dr. George.
No
I'm going
problem.
to ask our viewers to subscribe to my YouTube page, and you'll be watching
Bless
it on
you.
all our social media platforms. So please comment and like and even share it on your page because a lot of people are going to get some nuggets out of this
Mm.
conversation that they have not heard before. And maybe you had not heard of Dr. Essie Clark George before, but you heard her tonight on
Mm.
Friday Talk. So God bless you, Dr. George. We look forward to
Bless you.
sharing with you
Bless you.
in Dallas, Texas, and we'll see you soon. God bless and have a great evening.
Thank you, sir.